Welcome to another exciting episode of Halftime Adjustments. I'm your substitute host tonight, Mr. J. Lou. I got my guy G Witt with me. How you
Tighten
doing,
up,
G
baby.
Witt? Tighten up. Ed is on, but behind the scenes today. So you kind of got me and G Witt. So get on in here and share the show, like the show, look at the chat, say what you gotta say. We're gonna give you our rundown on this game today. So Titans off a bye week. Back in action, continuing the 4-game homestand. So this is game 2 out of the 4 that you got for the entire month of November. And you get a Houston team that, their record probably doesn't really speak of how this team is. I think you got I know you have a championship caliber defense with a suspect offense, a team that started 0-3, had a great comeback win last week against the Jaguars in dramatic fashion, outscoring them 26-0 in the fourth quarter. So you're curious, how is it going to go against the Titans? What are we going to look like out of a bye week? And well, G Witt, same old song and dance. Same old song and dance as far as the end result being a loss, but it was a different way we got there. Again, the Houston Texans come away today with the win, 16-13. And G Witt, give me a couple of your takeaways from the game today.
Well, real quick, it ended up being better than I thought it would, in all honesty. As offensively offensive as the game was, it ended up being better than I thought it would, simply because, we only lost by 3 on the last second field goal. So I was glad to see it wasn't a blowout, because I know that offense. I was thinking after that win last week against the Jags, they were going to come in and start lighting us up, but I thought the defense played fairly well overall. Cam got some things. Okay, let's get. With Cam, I'll just say this: he's a rookie, and there's some things he's got to learn. His throwing angles on some of his passes is the reason why a lot of his passes get knocked down. He is just bad angles and not finding a good throwing lane in order to get the ball out of there. But on the plus side, we finally got to see him actually run for yardage, which was really good. You saw us take advantage of a penalty and actually get to the point to where we could score. It was a great throw to Chig because he took a lick but got it off and everything, and it was a perfectly placed ball. And then to end up with the touchdown, I thought to Van Jefferson was really good. So those things were good. Again, it was good to see Big Jeff back. He got another sack.
Yeah.
And that put him like on the list of consecutive years with at least 5 sacks. So, he's right up there running with Jarrell Cases and a couple other Titan Oilers legends. So overall, like I said, it's the same old, same old. There was really not a ton of excitement, but you're just happy you're just happy it was a close game.
Yeah. A couple of my takeaways from it. You hate to see the injury to Ridley, who's done for the year. Because I'm curious. You always play that what if game. I would like to know what the game plan looked like today. You saw him get the very first play of the game and go down. So I'm curious to know how much he was going to be involved and what that could have maybe looked like a little different from the offense. Defense. And that yes, they gave up the drive at the end of the game, and we'll get into that when we talk about it. But you look around the NFL league today, there's a lot of teams that lost that only scored 16 points.
Yeah.
A lot. So, considering, and, I've been hard on Denard Wilson here and there with some of his schemes, and, his DB room is, the DB room's not even what I tell you earlier. This is the 90-man preseason squad, not even the ones you cut down. This is the 90-man squad, and the DBs he had out there. And again, you were going against Davis Mills, who again who's had success against this Titan teams, and Davis Mills had a better wide receiving core out there than the Titans did. So he had some weapons, but to really hold them to 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. You're supposed to win a game, come away and win the game. So kind of I like, what you saw from some of the scheme if you look at it overall. I think one of the bad things that I point out, one of the disappointments, last time I checked, and the Texans didn't have a lot of fans. They had the lower bowl that the business side usually have. So it wasn't a lot of Texans fans. It was a home game, and it was in Nashville, and it was in Nissan Stadium. And to have 5 false starts on your offense, with 3 or 4 of them, 4 penalties alone, and we'll get into J.C. Latham as we talk about the offense, because it's very disappointing that the thing coming out of the game today is going to be the penalties. But when you go watch film and they look at the DNs he went up against, J.C. Latham gave up 1 pressure the whole game. Like, he kept Will Anderson in check. Yeah. He had a great game plan-wise outside of the turnover, outside of the penalties. Now, I will say, at least the penalties, every single one of them, with the exception of one, they overcame on the drive. One of them was on the touchdown drive. One of them was on the field goal drive. I think another one was on a nice little drive. So, hate to see that, but that's something that's got to be cleaned up. And then I'm going to continue to give my guy Bones his due. Yep. I thought special teams, again, if you want to, we've said it last year. Not to bring up Vrabel, but just look at the Patriots, and that team's not good, but they're 9-2 because we say coaching matters. Yeah, Bones is continuing to get the bottom of the barrel when it comes to this roster, and continuing to turn it over as far as roster turnover, and yet they're not missing a beat when it comes to the special teams operation. So definitely want to commend them on that. So we'll jump right in. Again, thank you for joining us today. I see Dewey Cheatham and Howe. Eddie Gray, when are we going to get DBs and return to hit? Eddie Gray, I'll come back to that one first. Dewey talked about defense played good enough to win. Offense sucked again. I agree. Yep. Darius, he broke the fibula bone, if I'm not mistaken. Fibula. And I was telling G Witt before we came on, where my seat sat in the stadium is kind of near the Titans tunnel, and on that sideline is where they usually keep the cart. So when he went down in the game in the first quarter, you thought it was either an ankle for where it was at on the far side of the field, or a cramp, because he was just holding sometimes like they catch the Charlie horse. He got up, and when they brought him out onto the sideline, they had already motioned for the cart. And when he got on the cart in front of us, we could see, it didn't look good. Yeah, so, but let's jump into this offense. So again, we look at you look at some of the stats today for this offensive unit. Again, Cam Ward, effective day, he was 24 of 37, so 65%, 194 yards passing, 1 touchdown, sacked 3 times, a quarterback rating of 59%, rating of 87. Did have the 1 turnover on the fumble. Rushing as a team, the team was 17 carries for 58 yards and 3.4 average. So, G-Witt, talk to me a little bit about what you saw from this offense today.
Well, I will say this. Now, granted, it was a defensive game, but it's a crying shame we got an offensive line that can't do better run blocking than what they did today. I mean, there was absolutely nowhere. I'm not taking anything away from Houston's defense, but, a lot of pressure is put on Cam simply because we can't run the ball.
Yes.
And when you go back and look at it, I mean, Cam had your biggest run of the day. Mm-hmm. But Pollard was really, he only had 22 yards, and Spears only had 3.
Yeah.
So, granted, some of it, it's just bad blocking all the way around. Let's just call it what it is. The offensive line play, as far as run blocking was concerned, which should be a strength of theirs, was just bad. I got frustrated enough watching the second half, because I missed most of the first half. I got frustrated enough watching the second half. I told you, we just needed to come on the show tonight and just talk about what we need for next season. Because, I was so sick of seeing Cushenberry get manhandled all over the place.
Yeah.
It wasn't even funny. Like I mentioned earlier, Cam, he made some good throws. He made some bad throws. He missed some. But one of his biggest issues that he's definitely going to have to work on are his throwing angles, because a lot of his passes he had 3 knocked down today.
Yes.
And a lot of them was just due to the fact of his arm position when releasing the ball. It was just so low that guys could just jump up and just block it. Mm-hmm. So I was thought that was pretty bad. The penalties, the false starts. You're at home, man. Why are you jumping? You know, and you know, that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to think of what else I saw that was good. Finally, you saw them getting Gunther involved, and the nice bomb to Chig on that third down play, which put us in scoring position. Which, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the first times we've actually scored from the red zone, because usually we score from outside the red zone. Mm-hmm. So, and the fact that we drove down and scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, which I thought was pretty good as well. But overall, it's just a bad offensive day to me. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from the Texans defense. I know they're stellar. They're actually Super Bowl quality. But we had some opportunities and just could not take advantage of. And I'm just more disappointed in the fact that we simply cannot run the ball. Yeah, and it's what I've been saying all year. You don't have anyone really in the run game that defenses feel like they absolutely have to plan for. They just got to be aware of them. They don't really have to plan for them to make sure they do something extra to stop the running game, because we just don't have a good one.
No, I agree. I thought I, for one, am looking forward to a new coaching staff, and I just want them to not be conservative.
Yeah.
You're a 1-9 football team. You went for a field goal on 4th and 3. I don't have, okay, yeah, you want to go for field goal, whatever. The 3rd down and 3 call that was a run, to your point, that we haven't been able to do all game, that's a call you make if you're going to go for it on 4th down. Absolutely. Hey, maybe I break the run, but when you trot the field goal team out there, and yeah, I mean, they granted Sly made the kick and all, but that's like you're coaching like you're coaching not to lose and try to keep the games close and muddy it up, and you just don't have the talent and depth to do that. That's and right. I thought you saw that a lot with some of the play calls. I will say it was nice to see the screen game actually be impressive today. I think we had a 15-yard on one to Spears, and then Chimray on the little wide receiver bubble screen they like to do actually picked up a gain of 5 yards on one. So still would like to see them scraped a little bit better, but and yeah, I think Cam had his ups and downs. He's a rookie. Like we said, it's different. He's seeing a lot of things. I thought overall pressure. He's got to learn, and again, it's got to continue to speed up when he gets in the offseason and really is able to study film of the entire season. Mm-hmm. He's got to speed up his processing, because I think at least one of those sacks in the second half is on him. I think it was Eddie Gray that mentioned, when is Cam going to realize that he can run the ball? Eddie, somebody said something today, but I'm with you, because he only had 3 carries for 33 yards and a career long of 20 yards, but he left several out there. The one play in particular, either in the 3rd quarter or 4th, when they were driving, and he scrambled and could have scrambled and threw a kind of sidearm to Ellick, I think, for like a 4-yard catch. He had yards there again.
Yeah, so he could have made more than 4 yards on that play.
Yeah, so he's got to realize when it breaks down like that, particularly when you got a lot of teams like this that's blitzing and playing some type of man or off zone coverage behind it, you've got yards there. So I would like to see him use his yards a little bit more. The penalties, man, it's ridiculous. And again, you have to separate the penalties from JC's play today, because JC today was the right tackle that you needed today. He went again to give up one pressure to Will Anderson and to hold your own that way. He did his job, but we've got to clean up the penalties, because too many times, and it happened again today, 3rd and 3 went from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 17. And you never snapped the ball until you got to 3rd and 17. So they've got to clean up the penalties. I'm going to continue to yell, and they can the ones on here that follow us that sit in my section, I can tell you I'm yelling at the coaching staff and everybody all the time. I don't understand. I called the Chig long play when they came out of the formation. Chig was in the slot. At that point in time, you ain't had no wide receivers. He was a mismatch. And why were you not going to him the entire second half? Same thing with Gunner. I don't understand why Gunner's not getting enough opportunities to catch balls. I think when I looked today, you had Chig with 3 targets. Chig caught all 3 of his targets for 56 yards. Gunner had 5 targets, so he was four receptions, 29 yards along of 11. When your number one receiver went out, they had as 7 targets between them. That should have been doubled today, especially when you had 37 pass attempts. That definitely should have been doubled today. So you would like to see that. And again, I would agree. Good to see us scoring from the red zone. I will say that because you try to look for building blocks, particularly when you got a rookie quarterback. To see him and his poise on a 95-yard drive go tie the game up. Now, you probably still lose the game on a field goal at the end like you did, but I think the entire stadium, at least on my side, was screaming, I would have went for 2. You're 1-8, go for 2. Just go, like, what do you have to lose, particularly with the new kickoff rules that teams ain't really got to go as far for a field goal. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to have a field goal shot anyway to beat you, whether it was tied or if you were up by 2. So again, I think that just goes back to some of the conservative play calling you're seeing. So let me get a couple of these comments in. Let me try to catch us up. Okay, I got that one. So Ed asked, is this the last time we see Ridley in the two-tone blue? I think so. I think so because there's an out on his contract that you can get out of and save some cap. Again, Titans got the most cap money next year, and the way some of these contracts were done a couple years ago, this can be the out where it doesn't burn you so much with dead money. But I actually think that this is the last we've seen him. Dewey Cheatham Howe, again, thank you for joining. It was good to see Cam running. Agreed. Ed Arnell, appreciate Unc. We need to get the plays off much quicker. 1,000% agree. We came out of either the 2-minute warning or a TV timeout and almost got a delay of game when the play should have been called. And again, I'm up in the stands looking at the play clock to see when they come out the huddle, and we're getting to the line at 12 and 11 seconds. And then, I don't know if you noticed it today, G-Wit, but I felt like it was a lot of check with me's at the line. Like I thought we were doing a lot of, and you just don't have the time to do that when you're getting to the line of scrimmage, when you get into the line with 10 seconds up on the play clock.
Well, I will tell you the funny thing about this, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was sitting here with my wife watching the game, and I was laughing at the announcers on the game because they kept saying I can't remember who, I don't know who was calling it. The color commentator was, but anyway, he was talking about the Titans need to go hurry up, need to go quick tempo. And I looked at my wife, I said, that's the same thing we've been saying all season long. And he said it for the exact same reason we've been saying. You want to slow down this pass rush. Yes. You want to go quick tempo, get the ball out of Cam's hands real quick instead of waiting like they – now, I give them credit on that 95-yard drive. They did that. Uh-huh. They got the ball out of his hand quick, kept moving the ball. And I'm like, okay, so why can't you do this for the entire game? Especially when you know your left tackle is struggling against this pass rush. And you can give Cam more time to get rid of the ball. And plus, if you go quick tempo, you end up wearing out the defense. They can't rush as effectively.
Yep.
So, I will say and anytime they get out the huddle pretty quick, I thought it was, like you said, way too many check with me's at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
I mean, you end up using all your time doing all these check with me's and look like everybody's confused and all that kind of stuff. And I think, and again, Cam's a rookie, so I give him the benefit of doubt this season, but I think a lot of it, what he just kept seeing things and was trying to adjust to what he was seeing. It was taking way too much time.
Yes.
And that in itself caused some of the jumping, the illegal motion penalties, because you got your offensive lineman sitting down too long, waiting for you to snap the ball. So, but yeah, I thought that was funny today when that color commentator said the same thing about that we've been saying all season. He said, like, they really should try go and hurry up to help Cam out and everything and get him in a rhythm. And they never did it.
Never did it.
Mark Schiller?
Mark Schiller. I thought Stink was the color commentator because it was a Fox game today.
Yeah, it was a Fox game. Well, that explains it because Mark Schiller is an offensive
lineman. Yeah.
So he knows.
Eddie Gray, not at this number. I think we bring it back at a lower number. He's probably talking about Ridley, but I think Ridley's gone. Again, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, when they did go hurry up, they could have caught Houston in the change. He's right. There's a few times when Houston was subbing, and we just didn't snap the ball. We waited till they got 11 on the field and then snapped it. Nate, what up, Nate? Even the fella's a little late to the show. Will, what's going on, Will? Big Jeff was on JC's top. Yeah, Will. I guess they showed it on the TV copy. And because I can see it on the sideline copy, and then coming back and looking at social media after the game, I guess it was broadcast on the TV. Big Jeff, this is probably the most animated I've seen him at the office. And if you listened to the press conference after the game, I can tell you, Big Jeff talks like somebody, one, who's a veteran leader of this team, and probably two, knows that, okay, you didn't trade me. You want me to be the building block. Let me just do that by leading like I should, because he called out the offense.
Yeah.
He called out, without mentioning his name, he called out JC. And the thing that was disappointing to hear Big Jeff say after the game, he said that Mike McCoy talked about offside penalties in practice Friday because they had 5 of them in practice Friday. There's no fans around. There's nothing. There's no noise at a practice. And you had 5, and it turned over into the game.
I guess it carried over.
So that's something that I think you got to have a gut check and a heart check. And we mentioned that earlier when we were talking about Sweat, who I thought played well. We get on that on defense, but I think you got some players on this team that don't love football, kind of like a Big Jeff or somebody, and you're starting to see some of that in how they prepare Monday through Friday to get to Sunday.
Yeah.
See, Ed had one in that I wanted to see. Yeah, Ed. So Ed was talking about nice designs on the screen today. I agree, Ed. They worked, and I thought they were good designs today. They definitely don't have the O-line talent for these hard counts. I agree. Cam did a great job setting up the protection. And Nate again. Yeah, Nate. We said Nate was saying he didn't know if we said it or not, but they waited too long to get the tight ends going again. Nate, I feel like we don't get the tight ends going any game until the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth, and you're just not putting them in a rhythm like that. So let's why did we let Archery go? I can't explain that one, Eddie Gray. He was a cap casualty, but man, he's still balling out. Still balling out. Ed had one more coming out of the bye week and still having issues with getting the play call is a reason to get fired. Agreed. I just don't understand. Not only coming out of the bye week. Again, these TV timeouts, they got a clock in the stadium that automatically starts at like 2.5 minutes verbatim.
Yep.
You can get the play in. Why are you still waiting to get to the line at 10? You're not changing anything and still not getting out. So, yeah, that whole operation has just got to be a lot faster. So, switching sides of the ball, we'll flip over to the defensive side of the ball. And if you look at the defensive stats today, you look at Davis Mills, 26 of 41 for 274, average of 6 yards, 1 touchdown, sacked 4 times today, 38.5 quarterback rating. They got after him. You look at rushing stats. It was almost identical to us. 23 carries as a team, 75 yards, 3.3 average. The longest of the day was a 12-yard run. I think that's great considering the last time they gashed us when we got into the fourth quarter. And then no turnovers for Houston today. The big one that sticks out though is, and again, you see it. They got a number 1 receiver over there, Nico Collins. 10 targets today, 9 receptions, 92 yards, and 1 touchdown. So G Witt, tell me a little bit about what you saw out of this defense today.
Oh, okay. I'll leave the defensive line alone because I really didn't have any real issues. I thought they had some pretty good pressure, but I'm just gonna say it, man. Armour Davis, I think he had one good play.
When?
It was at the beginning of the game.
Okay, yeah. You're right. No, you're 100% right because I remember yelling and saying, "Okay, 18," and then after that, he didn't.
It was downhill. It was downhill. I have. In my unprofessional and lack of football knowledge opinion, I will say I don't understand how you're not starting even one of Harris over him. I just don't see it. I know he's long, but man, it's just bad.
Yes.
It's just bad. One play, it was a 3rd and long, and he just turned this man loose and pointed at Harris like he's supposed to come over and cover. I'm like, dude, where you going?
I would like to see the snap counts when they were released. I didn't look before the thing. I think that was his last snap of the game because that particular play you're talking about, he was pulled out. Like they subbed him out, and I don't think he went back in the game.
I'm like, what are you doing? It didn't make any sense. And I'm going to say this on that last drive, and again, I don't understand NFL defensive coordinators sometimes. I really don't. 3rd and 16.
3rd and 16. You
rush 4 and you play off coverage zone and you give up 21. Why?
I mean, the DB started backing up before the snap again. He was already playing off and started backing up.
You already playing off 7 yards and you're gonna start backing up. I'm like, come on now. I mean, and to me, in that part, and this is the thing that Eddie's talked about for the past 3 years. Go down with the blitz. You're 1-8.
Yes.
Go down with the blitz. Send pressure. Make them have to throw the ball quick and short. But instead, you back off and you give it up. And again, understanding the game is tied. And all you need, if you stop them on that 3rd down, you got them punting. And then we get to see if Cam can actually make a game-winning drive to win the game.
Yep.
But instead, your defense, you rush 4, don't get any pressure on Mills. And he has plenty of time to get the ball. And I think he threw it. It was Nico, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Nico Collins.
Yeah. And I think it was the longest pass play of the game. And I'm like, dude, really? Again, I'm not going to go off deep in on the safeties because we've been talking about Amani Hooker just playing because he got a paycheck.
Yeah.
And not really making an impact on the game as much as you would hope. I thought Baker Jr. did okay, but again, like I said, the defense played well enough to win.
Yes.
They played well enough to win. Cody Barton probably had his best game since the Denver game because he played well. But I'm not so hard on the defense except for that one that when you need a stop.
Didn't get
3rd and 16.
Yeah.
I don't understand playing off coverage and giving them a soft rush and not putting any pressure on the quarterback. And we've been doing that ever since we've been in this stadium. That's a Jeff Fisher move. Yeah. That's a Jeff Fisher move.
Yeah.
And it never made sense. It didn't make sense to me back then. It still don't make sense to me. I don't understand. And you see, and I will say to Denard's defense, you see defensive coordinators doing it all across the league.
You do.
And for the life of me, I can't understand it. Now, the aggressive ones, the ones who got #1 defenses like your boy Van Joseph in Denver or even the Nico Ryans in Houston, he
bringing the pressure.
He bringing pressure. So I just don't understand why you would do something like that when you know if you stop them there and they punt, you got a chance to win the ball game.
Yeah,
that's what makes me think, okay, we're playing preseason football and we're just trying to see how they can handle different situations. We're not trying to win.
Yeah. Now, let me get some of these comments in before I go. Nate, again, kind of agreeing with you there on Baker Jr. had a decent-ish game. I would agree for his standards. I thought he was decent. Nate, again, as well. Cedric Gray is still balling. Cody Barton did a complete turnaround. Again, I think today was one of Cody's best days. Joe, thanks for joining the show tonight, Joe. How many 3rd and longs and they kept getting them first down? It seemed like a ton of them, Joe. And it was eating. That 3rd and 17, he had 18 yards. It's like they were getting a yard or 2 pass, and again, just no pass rush. And then Eddie Gray, what he saying? We got rid of Jarvis Brownlee for Slaw. I 1,000% agree with you. 1,000%. And then they need to re-sign Diggs and play 3 safeties. I think Diggs. I know Diggs asked for his release because he knew that they wanted to try to get Kevin Winston a little bit more playing time, which I thought he played pretty well. Yeah. And then Diggs, I think, wants to go to somebody's contender this year. So then maybe next year, Eddie Gray, if he just signs a 1 year, maybe. But I know for this year, that was a mutual parting of ways where he asked for his release and was granted. And then Ed had a comment that I'll start on and jump right into me about the defense. He said that he thought Harris played Harris played well today, and I agree. Yeah. I thought that's the one thing, and that's the one, as you're looking for silver linings and hope, the 2026 season. Your young guys, I think right now you have behind New England, you've got the 2nd most rookies that have taken the most snaps in the NFL. Yeah. It's only New England and you, and both of those rosters were teetotal, turnovers and disasters. So to see some of these guys come on, I thought Harris played good. He was sticky in there. I think he had 1 or 2 PBUs that he'd be credited with today. So you like to see that. And again, if we just looking ahead to next year a little bit, just looking at the roster construction, you only currently have 2 cornerbacks under contract for next year. And that's Snead, who I put an asterisk beside there because I don't expect him to play, and Harris. So DB depth is detrimental. Yeah, I just don't know what Amani Hooker. He got paid, and he's just it's a bad look out there for him. It was nice to see Mike Brown. I think was back out there today a little bit, and then again Kevin Winston Jr. had 6 tackles. And 1 quarterback hit. You saw him on a blitz a couple times. You saw him playing that role of a few times he was involved with Schultz with the tight end. He actually had a nice PBU on the tight end. Cedric Gray again with 11 tackles. I think that brings him to 91 or 90, between 91 and 93. So he's well on pace to set the franchise record all over the field. And I will say this about that's my guy, Ed. I will say this about Cedric Gray. We all knew if you go back to the offseason and when we talked about it preseason, we knew he could get downhill because we saw it on some of the blitzes in preseason. You knew he could play the run well and be a tackling machine. What I saw today and what I saw, the last game previous to the bye, you like to see what he's doing in pass coverage. Because he had a couple of good sticky situations today, particularly playing against the tight end that I thought was fantastic. Cody Barton, again, you saw him on a blitz. It's like they're finally playing off each other a little bit more, the linebackers. And Cody Barton probably should have had another pick today too. I think he was just a second off of it. And then, I think after the first half at least, first quarter and a half, Big Jeff got back into game shape and he was letting that offensive line have it. You like to see, November and December, we know that's Arden Key time right after the trade deadline. He starts playing. So you saw him balling out there today. Thought Sweat's numbers, and again, you'd have to really watch football. I know he was credited with a tackle for a loss today, but Sweat helps Cedric Gray make a lot of his tackles on run stops. Because he's eating up double teams and doing what the D-line should do. So I thought he played well. And again, you hold a team to 1 touchdown and 3 field goals and you still lose. That just don't happen a lot in the NFL. So again, I think overall, all things considering, you like to see them get off the field when they need to. I will say it was glad to see the damn don't break today, because that's usually what happens in the fourth quarter with this defense, but they didn't. They kept you in there. They had several. Houston couldn't put the game away. When it was the turnover from Cam, you just knew that was the backbreaker. You hold them to a field goal where you're still down by 7 and then get your offense the ball back to go down and tie it up. The defense did everything they could to keep them in, and the offense just let them down. But I'll give them a little credit today for what they managed and how they managed to play the game. Ed, what you got, brother?
So you saw today what a healthy Sweat and a healthy Jeff does for Arden Key and for the linebackers. You saw it today. G Witt's been wanting to see it all season. You saw it today. You saw how they cause havoc in the middle of the offensive line, and they allow the other players to feed off that. I want to go back to something you both were saying about Armour Day. And so and there's a question somebody just asked about Hooker. Do we think the bad plays because he has a bad corner on his side? I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because they ran a cover 2 today, which they rarely run cover 2. And Hooker didn't get over the top. The safety on cover 2 has to play his half of the field. He has to get over top. And so when Armour Davis lets him, as he gets him get past his drops in his zone, the safety's got to get over there. And so it could be a little bit of that, but Hooker hadn't played well at all this season, in my opinion. And so, you see things like that, and you're like, okay, yeah, we know 18 is struggling, but when you got a safety that's not getting over doing his responsibility, it just makes it 10 times worse. Right. But like you mentioned, man, this is Arden Keith's season. This is his time of the year where he starts playing ball because he's putting stuff on tape as he says it. He gets a couple of sacks today. Cedric Gray, like you said, I already mentioned. I wanted to see James Williams today. So I know he practiced at edge some this past week. I wanted to see what that looked like. And I actually think Harrell played pretty decent today too.
That's who I forgot. He did.
Yeah, he played pretty well today, considering the fact. And then Winston Jr., I don't know if you guys mentioned, I couldn't hear that part of it, but I thought he played well. He still needs more reps, though. You can
Yes.
tell.
Yeah.
He had a few times where he didn't fill the gap just right.
Mhm.
But you can see on his blitz, though, he's a heat-seeking missile.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And timing is everything with him. He gets off and gets to the quarterback a lot better than anybody else on that team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great question, Nate. He's asking about Restrepo. Is he going to get called up with all the injuries? So let me say this too. And I know y'all already talked about offense. So I just want to say this one thing because I wanted to get it in the chat and I couldn't. So after Jefferson, you see what kind of depth we got. And no offense against Mason, and we can argue either way if Cam threw the ball on the wrong side or if Mason turned the wrong way on that switch release out of that fake. I mean, it was a great play call, great design. I'm gonna give them their credit today. They designed some good plays today. But you see why Mason is a practice squad player.
Yes.
You see why. Is that reason. And so, we've got to get more depth through our receiver. And I know we want to talk about some of those guys. Some of those needs for next year. We'll hit that up in a minute. But yeah, I wanted to say that, man, because it just seems like the talent is just not there on every level. Some spots, like we've been mentioned, we've got good talent, but there's still a need. And hey, the tank is still on, baby.
The tank is rolling.
The tank is still on. Unless y'all got something else about the defense, special teams today. Of course, DK is the special teams. He went out. You saw how everything just fell off.
Hey man, I said in the stands, I said DK has. I really don't like him right now because he spoiled us. He has spoiled me for 9 games. So when I'm looking at Chestnut, right, I'm like, oh, you're so slow.
Absolutely.
Big difference in 4.3 speed, right?
Yes.
I was impressed with Joey Sly today. Thought he kicked well. You hit or miss on him these days. You never know. But the conservative play caller, we should have never kicked those field goals, in my opinion. And like y'all mentioned it earlier, why not throw the ball deep? Just like I said about the blitzing. Why not blitz? Why not throw the ball deep? You don't have nothing to lose at this point.
Nothing.
Now I'm glad they lost. I really am. I hate to say that. We need that #1 pick. I'm telling you.
Yes.
But go ahead. Whoever was next. I guess the G went on the special team. Anything else you want to cover on that, man?
I mean, you pretty much covered it. The punting game I thought was good. I thought he did a good job. I mean, he averaged 50 yards on the punt, so I got no complaints there. And yeah, you can obviously see DK goes out and Chestnut is back there, and Chestnut is just like I said when he's in the game playing running back. He's north and south.
North and south.
There is no change of direction with him or whatever, and he's going to take his lick, hang on to the ball, and go down. Yeah, I hated seeing DK get hit like that. The question I got, and J. Lou, you mentioned it before we came on, that it was a chest contusion.
Yeah, so I know probably on the TV copy they might have said concussion, because even in the stadium they said out with concussion. But after the game, he passed concussion protocol at the stadium. He was out with a chest contusion, which sounds probably more about right when you saw the hit.
Yeah, yeah. So I hated seeing him go down with that, but overall, again, when it comes to special teams, all you got to say is, if there's an MVP for the coaching on this team, it's definitely Bones.
It's Bones.
I mean, because our special teams are literally night and day from what we've experienced. I'm going to say in a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember Adam Lowry having special teams that functioned this well.
He didn't.
No,
he didn't.
Right.
And again, to piggyback on that, the amount of roster turnover you see in the special teams changing is a testament to that. I mean, at the end of the game, so I mean, the very end of the game, the coaches, everybody walking off the field, and I was mentioning to folks in the city, Bones looked like he still was coaching. He was trying to figure out why they didn't block the field goal.
Yep.
Like literally, he was still ready to coach him up. So that's step number 1 when you interview the new head coach. They've got to find a way to keep Bones on the staff. And looking at some of the coaching contracts, he more than likely signed a 2-year contract. So theoretically he should stay. But again, that's something that you know the head coach. I think that's something Brigantium have to try to get with the new head coach, because head coach can, most of the folks on this staff have an extra year on that contract anyway, but the head coach will come in and make his own staff, and that's a coordinator to me that definitely has to stay. I thought it was good to see. Again, you saw what a veteran like Johnny Hekker can do.
Yeah.
And I again, not knowing how it came across on the TV copy, but going to the south, going towards the south, the wind was at your back. Coming to the north end zone, you went into the wind, and he played wonders with the wind and with the punts. And the same thing, that first field goal that Sly made was a 56-yarder. That was into the wind, and I was worried. I was like, oh, we got to go for this. But to see his big leg and with the wind and how it was whipping, I have nothing to say about special teams except good luck to. This will be the week that and it kind of goes to that Restrepo. I feel like you'll see Prochet called up, because more than likely DK is going to be down. Yeah. So I think you bring Prochet up, at least from a return standpoint.
Yeah. And
then you've got to probably, if Restrepo can't make it now, I don't think you'll ever see him, because you have no receiver depth going for that. So I definitely expect to see maybe Prochet returning kicks next week.
Yeah, and just to go along with Bones, so Michael Robinson, number 21, is called up.
Yes.
And I know he's fast, but he was at the gunner today, and he did an outstanding job getting out there.
Job.
And then number 30,
held twice.
Yeah, and who was 30? I can't remember his name.
I can't remember 30.
And he was down there as well. I'm just saying. So to go to your points, both of you.
30 is Brown, isn't it?
Brown is 44.
44.
Yeah, Brown is 44.
Kendall Brooks.
Kendall Brooks.
Kendall Brooks. Yeah, and so to your points, like I said, that just goes to show you, when you have good coaching. Now you gotta have some talent. You gotta have some talent in the league. That's bottom line. But you don't have to have the great talent. The blue chip players, if you will. You can have guys like Michael Robinson, who can run a 4-3, who can play gunner and be effective. And you saw it today.
Yes.
I mean, how many times have we seen plug and play guys? Because Bryce Oliver's been out majority of the season, right? And so you've been rotating on those gunners. You got Marcus Harris out there playing gunner. You also got Michael Robinson. And then Kendall Brooks. Again, best coach on the staff at this point.
Yep.
He deserves to be called back. I mean, I don't know if they even consider him as a head coach. I'm not really sold on that part. I think his niche is special teams. But yeah, it's it just does wonders when you have good coaching, and we see it around the NFL time and time again. And so Seahawks, man, coming up this week. Colts were on the bye this week, so they stayed 8-2. The Jags beat the brakes off the Chargers. Last time I saw the score was 35-9. And they moved to 6-4. Texans moved to 5-5, of course, and the Titans dropped to 1-9. Seahawks coming in for that third home game in a row, guys. And we know Mike McDonald has a outstanding defense. He is a great defensive coach. They got some big corners. They got great pass rush. It might be ugly because Sam Darnold is playing like at an MVP caliber level. They got a Rashid. They traded for the receiver from the Saints, Rashid, and I can't remember his last name, but and he's Shaheed. Shaheed, thank you. And he's got a lot of speed to go along with Jackson. And so, I mean, run game, whatever it is. And so let's just do it this way. Let's see. He said Williams practiced. Yeah, Eddie, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did practice at edge this week. I wanted to see if they were going to play him, but the edge just played well today.
Yeah, I don't think he got any. I don't think he got no rotation, because I was looking for his number the whole time. But Eddie Gray,
I wanted to see it.
They're experimenting with him at edge because of the depth there.
I wanted to see him. And see, Eddie Gray says Cignetti, this is the coach of Indiana. Flores, of course. Bones, that should be the list of coaches. And we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Long time to get there. But yeah, so looking at the future for this team and the needs, of course, like you guys mentioned, secondary is huge. Now, this is what I was thinking the other day, and it's not because I'm a fan of this football team, but the best running back in the country plays for Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love is the best. He might be the best athlete in the draft coming up. I mean, this guy's 3 down back. He doesn't go down on the first time. He makes people miss.
Yep.
He can catch the ball. He can kick return, and he can run routes. So, if I'm the front office, and I'll let y'all say y'all's piece as well. I trade back, of course, if I get them one pick. If I can get an edge and then trade back up and get Jeremiah Love, I'm defense the rest of the draft. That's my draft. So you talking about a home run hitter that you need for a quarterback.
Yeah.
A young quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And there's your threat, G Witt, that you say run a game.
Yeah.
It's a threat at that point. But go ahead. Yeah,
so
go ahead.
I like that pick, except for one thing which you said, and I'm just gonna go against it just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I agree. I don't trade back up. I wouldn't be shocked if they trade back twice in the first round.
Wow. Okay.
If you just take a look at that 2027 estimated draft class right now, it's skill positions.
That's right.
Both wide receiver, DB, etc. Right.
Yep.
There's some talent there. And I see he talked about the Jets getting their 2 first rounders. You've got the hope that Ty Simpson and you need 2 quarterbacks people don't want to fight over. Yes. And you get the top pick and you can get a haul, because I think you can get in my scenario, I trade back twice and I take the running back. And I think you fall in between the teams there. But if you trade it back twice in the first round, you probably picked up 3 additional first rounders, not including second rounders, but 3 additional first rounders. And I think that's your MO. Me and my brother was talking about us leaving the game. That to me is the MO to get Cam. I'll give him running back this year and probably patchwork receivers. And I think the 2027 draft is his MO to go get that boy from Ohio State. This wide receiver.
That's the dream scenario.
As the dream scenario. Because again, I do think you go skill position, wide receiver or running back to give him some help. And then the rest of the draft is defense, because you got to build that. But I love that running back out of Notre Dame. I think Borgonzi, I wouldn't be shocked if he willed and dealed out of that first pick and ended up drafting in 15 or 16 and you've got 3 or 4 more first rounders. That is a haul.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was of course I'm a Notre Dame fan. Like I said, I'm not saying it because I am, because as far as liking him, but my wife and I was sitting here, and when he broke loose on that touchdown run, he spun and that dude fell to the ground. And she was like, I said, well, don't worry, because he don't get caught from behind. He don't.
No.
He don't. He never has. So I'm not saying he won it in the league, of course, because everybody's fast. But to this day, he hasn't been caught behind.
Yes.
So, but yeah.
No, I agree with both of you. Like I've been saying, a running back, you got to have a running back that's a threat. And so, yeah, that guy from Notre Dame, I think, is awesome. So I wouldn't be upset if they got him. I'm going to say this, and unless they got something already planned, they are going to have to figure out the center position. And I still think they need to find another left tackle, because your boy is not going to make it, I don't think, a second year. And if you ain't got somebody good behind them, you're going to be stuck, and you're going to still be playing this sack game with Cam for a second year in a row. You just don't want to do that. But really, I agree with you on the receiver deal. I thought, God, what was that receiver? I forgot, the Ohio State receiver got 1 more year. It was the guy from South Carolina, I thought. I think it was.
He is a senior. I believe.
Yeah, I think he's a senior.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about him as well. But yeah, it's kind of weird. But me, I definitely say you go defense, because right now your defensive side of the ball is just sparse. And you definitely need help, especially in the secondary. I still think you need your edge rusher, and you definitely need some more guys on linebacker duty. But yeah, you definitely need some help in the secondary with corners and everything. But the only problem is with today's college game and the offense, the way they play, it's hard to find good corners.
I think defense is going to be all about who your head coach is.
Yeah.
Because if something happens, and let's just say that defensive coordinator is at the 49ers as your head coach, I would trust him building this defense with some scratch. Look at the 49ers right now. And they, I mean, if they make the playoffs, they coach shouldn't be win coach of the year with, I mean, the injuries he got. But he's got that defense playing at a level with, and he doesn't even have those starters on there. And I think it was Eddie Gray putting it in here about we need a leader of men. That's I 1,000% agree with that from the next coaches, that whether that's somebody on the offensive side or defensive side. But I think you see them go deep. I think you see them go defense, and the defensive head coach will do nothing but focus on the defense. And I think you can get by. You might be able to get more out of some of these players that we got. Because I agree with you. If you watch college football all day on Saturdays, it's spread offense galore throughout, and that's not how the league is really played per se, even though it's an offensive game. So it's hard to find those sticky icky type corners, but I think you can make some magic with tweaking the scheme and again having somebody at the top that's a leader. Because hearing Jeff speak how he spoke after the game today about some of the players and calling them out like that, you don't have a leader of men that's bringing the unit together. Yep. So I think that can be two birds with one stone, depending on the head coach. Yeah.
Even Arden Key said the same thing.
He did.
And because you don't have anybody that can pull them all together and everything. But I would say this. I agree with you on Saleh as far as on the defensive side of the ball is concerned, just like I would with Flores on the defensive side of the ball. My question on both of them is how you manage the game on Sundays. Now, Saleh's a great defensive coordinator. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Great, and he would turn that defense around, as soon as he gets here. But my problem is, how do you manage the game on Sundays?
Yeah.
And what he showed at the Jets is that that's not his forte. Mm-hmm. So that's my only problem with him, and having to find an offensive coordinator that's going to really flip this offense around. So that I'm fine with that if he gets a good offensive coordinator to come in. Because I was the same way when they hired Vrabel. My whole question with him was like, who are going to be his coordinators? Because he's a first-time coach, and one thing he proved was the fact that he can manage the game on Sundays.
Yeah,
and I think that's the advantage you got with him. But to me, you got to find somebody who's going to be. They could be a good defensive coordinator, but they got to be a good CEO as far as managing the game on Sundays. And I just don't see that. From what he did with the Jets, I don't see that with Robert Saleh.
Yeah, and so I'll say this about Saleh, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but you got to think about this too. His offensive coordinator and his quarterback, Zach Wilson, was his quarterback. Now, say what you will, I don't think Zach Wilson, and we all know he didn't, and his career has not turned out to be what they thought it was going to be, and so. He probably had some game management issues, but he didn't have the offense to match that defense. Now
that's true.
And so we'll see. I mean, it's still a long way to go. Nick Harbor is the guy from South Carolina. He's a junior. He's 6'5", 235. He's a beast. I really like Jermaine Bernard from Alabama, number 5.
Yeah,
he reminds me of a bigger Debo Samuel. That can run really good routes.
He's a sophomore, isn't
he? I think he's a sophomore.
I'm telling you, that 2027 class is loaded.
Yeah.
You got Ryan Williams that's going to come out that year. And so, it's loaded. But we need a dominant, like a Jeremiah Smith. We need a dominant receiver. I don't know Bernard. I don't know if Bernard's that dominant guy. He's that guy that'll work across the middle for you and get those tough yards. Although he can run deep routes as well.
I mean, look at Carolina. They got them McMillan, and he is balling over there with him.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly to your point, like you said during the week. Cam needs a number one receiver that is a dog.
Yes.
That's going to win contested. He can run and get past, take the top off the defense. Yep. And he's going to catch the ball. Put it in his radius. It don't have to be a perfect ball, right? But he's got to make the play. And so, it's the needs are there, and it's gonna be crazy to see what happens over this offseason. There's still a lot of football left to go, so we don't know what's gonna happen, but still, it's good to kind of think about what should be done as we go forward. Right guard is a need. I was gonna say this too, as you mentioned about Cushenberry. should they let Jackson Slater play? Let's see what they got there.
Now, I think that's your right guard or center.
Okay,
I'm with you. I personally right now would put him at right guard because Zeitler twice didn't block nobody today. One of them was out on a run play and he just got right by him. And I was like, Zeitler, you didn't touch nobody.
They called a hold on him.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, who did he hold? Because he didn't touch nobody. Oh man, thank y'all for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustment. Eddie Arnett, G with J. Lou. Thanks to J. Lou for hosting for me, man. I had to take care of some family business, but hey, got on, man, with y'all tonight, man. Appreciate all the comments, the questions for the show support. Let's see, Dewey Cheatham in the house says Chris Bell of Louisville is good too. Is that the head coach I'm taking? Or a receiver, probably. I'm not sure.
That's a receiver.
Okay. Well, yeah, so basically gonna be a loaded class. Like you said, the skill position in 2027 on both sides of the ball is gonna be huge. And I think and you guys mentioned somebody in the chat, Mendoza and Simpson, those will be the top two quarterbacks coming out this year. So you have the Jets and you have the Saints, and then who else? Probably the Dolphins. That'll be right there looking for a quarterback.
Yeah.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
I don't know if the Saints will be looking because they already got a rookie, and I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know what they think about him, really.
That's true. Just like the Steelers got a rookie because A-Rod is washed up, in my opinion.
Yes.
They played against the Packers. That was just that was awful.
Yes.
that was just awful. But yeah, man, thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week. J. Lou Dewey said he'll see y'all next week, man.
I'll see you next week, sir.
Yeah,
that's my good seatmate at the game. So
yeah, no doubt. But there's Shamika. Shout out to Shamika, man. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Ken Lou. Thank y'all for joining us, man. Check us out next week. We'll be back with another live episode of Halftime Adjustment. Eddie Arnett, G with J. Lou. We out here, man. Peace.
Peace.